Howdy folks, and welcome to this episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. We've got here a 1973 Johnson 20 horse. It actually seems to be in pretty good shape. Apparently there's been a different gearbox put on it at some point in time. Newer or older, I'm not sure which. I'm not that up to date with my colors and what the years were for the different colors. But the guy told me it runs. He said he bought it as a backup motor. Never used it as a parts motor or something in between like that, and decided that he didn't need it any longer and wanted to sell it. So I drove an hour and a half and picked it up from him. And here it is in the marina shop. This particular motor, we're gonna go through it, and I'm gonna show you all the stuff I go through on this particular motor step by step, and we're gonna bring her back to hopefully something that's very dependable and reliable. It's all complete. It's we'll see how good the compression is. He did say he put spark plugs in it and primed it with the bulb and got it to kick and run. Now whether he had water on it or not, I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna pull the gearbox off anyway. We're gonna check that water pump out and make sure it's all working. But this is a 1973. And obviously the handle's been broken at some time in history because it's a completely different color than the rest of it. But it would appear that everything works as far as in the handle department. Let's pull this cover off. Looks like a 35 horse and a 20 horsepower cover are about the exact same size. Let's take a look underneath here. And let's see what we can see. Just make some visual observations before we dig into it too deep. Just a little quick walk around. As you can see, it's greasy like most outboards do get. That's not a problem. That cleans up with this degreaser I've got. It'll just make her shine like a diamond in a goat's butt. But yeah, it looks like he did put new spark plugs in it. Looks like one or maybe both of the coils have been changed at some time in history. I'm not sure what's original, old and rusty, or newly still kind of painted looking. But somebody has replaced at some point in time the kill switch with a on-off switch versus a push button. It all appears to be complete and working. The choke comes shut. Stab it into gear. Looks like she'll go full throttle. All that seems to function pretty good. Back and forth into gear, no problem. Good stuff, all good stuff. I think we got ourselves a keeper here, boys. It's a short shaft, which is not a big deal. A lot of people need the short shafts on the old John boats and stuff. And I think we're gonna have this is gonna be a fun one. But yeah, we're gonna take that gearbox off. We're gonna pressure test it, make sure the seals are good in the bottom end there, and probably put a new impeller in it. Top off change the gear oil. Obviously I don't need new spark plugs, but we'll check compression. I will go ahead and pull this pull start off. We'll pull the flywheel off. We're gonna check and see if those points are nice and clean, like I want to see them. And if he said it run, I'm going to take for granted the carburetor might be in okay shape. It doesn't look all wet and greasy and oily, so it might be just holding just fine. We'll put new fuel line on it. That's what I always do. I don't know if you want to call it cheap insurance, but it's just what I like to do to make sure all the fuel line's fresh and clean, nothing decaying on the inside. But yeah. I think this will be a pretty cool little motor. So we're gonna get into that, pull it apart, and first thing I want to do before I start pulling it apart, I think I want to clean it. I don't like working on this greasy mess. So I'm gonna take a moment in time, and we're gonna wash this thing up. And I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do to wash one of these indoors. Now you guys might be asking yourself, how are you going to get that motor clean without making a mess inside your shop when it's below freezing outside? Well, here's how I'm going to do it. You guys see my other videos. This is my old barrel test tank I had. Well, it's empty. The cool part is I can pick this motor up, hang it in here, wash it all off, catch all the water in here, and then I can dump it. But that way I don't get all over my floor, and I can actually control where the water goes a little bit. And if I wanted to, I could probably drag a hose in here. I don't have a, I could probably drag a hose in here if I wanted to, and do a little spray and cleaning. But I'm gonna see if I can do it without a garden hose. I'm gonna see if I can just spray, scrub, and use another heavy-duty squirt bottle and just kind of spray it down and rinse it down that way. We're gonna give that a try for cleaning this up. And if this works, this is something you guys can do too. Actually, if you had a pan, like a big old pan that you could set this over in your garage or shop or whatnot, you could do the same thing and catch the water. And this way it's minimal amount of water, but maximum amount of clean. So let's see if I can get this picked up and set over in here with my overhead hoist. I think this one will go high enough. We'll see. Oh, that was easy. That was so easy, it's not funny. Now, as you can see, we're in here. Everything that's going to drip out the drip pan holes. These have natural drain holes, not natural drain holes, man-made drain holes, obviously. In the back of these pans, that lets all the water drain out, and it'll drain right into my tub. So we'll get my pretty blue straps out of the way. One observation I'm making right here that I'm just a little concerned about. I see a lot of wet, but it's really sticky, so it's old. And I'm kind of wondering, it looks like it originates from up here somewhere, but also I don't know if it was laid on its back with the carburetor full of fuel and it drained down over here and just soaked the outside. So when I do pull the flywheel off up here, we will be looking up underneath there to see if there's any grease, oil, or anything that's up around that upper seal. That'll let me know if that seal is good or bad. So we'll definitely do that. Well, let's get busy cleaning this thing. Now that we've got this thing pretty well cleaned up, let's go ahead and take this gearbox off and do some inspections on it. See this? If you can't find the right length cotter pin, just cut it off. Come on, that's a little ridiculous, but oh well. Got them to A to B, I'm guessing. Alright, we got the prop off. Let's go ahead and pull this gearbox off. We got her out. Sometimes they just get a little carboned up and they get real sticky and they don't want to come off. I was able to rotate this one a little bit, put a little spread on this, and it let go right away. So I'll have to do that on this one, then I'll make sure the bolts fit really well before I put it back together. But anyway, we got it out. All right, let's get this gearbox draining and see what kind of mysteries it holds inside, like hopefully just oil. And no water. Cross your fingers. Across mine. There we go, just oil. That's what we like to see. That's good news. All right, while that's draining, let's pull this water pump off. Now, one of the people that watch my videos was telling me to wiggle this shaft around while it's under pressure to see if it, see right there, if you get it just right, you'll see bubbles. So I can force this to one side and cause it to leak. I don't have to force it very hard either. So just sitting here static, like that, it doesn't leak. But then I can push it one side or pull it either way. You see how it leaks? We're gonna go ahead and replace that seal. All right, we've got the fending seals pulled out. I just wanted to show you this. This has a double seal put in it, and I'll show you. Normally when you put a seal in this way, it keeps the oil from coming out. And because of the way the lip's designed and the way the pressure, when pressure is applied to it, it pushes in toward the shaft. Well, you also want to keep water out, so they have two seals. So they have two of them in here like this. They're back to back. So one's keeping the oil from coming out, the other one's keeping the water from going in. So these are double stacked in there like that. So we have to order a couple of new seals, and we'll get those ordered. But while we're waiting on those to show up, let's go ahead and work on the Powerhead part. Let's check the points, let's check compression, let's look at some other features. Let's go ahead and check compression here. Those weren't very tight. You just hear my windmill howling in the background. We're making some electricity today. A few of you have asked me about the windmill. So let me show you a little bit what's going on with that. Satisfy your curiosities. So I've got a windmill out here. Let's step outside and I'll show you what it looks like. Got a good west wind going on today. But there it is. Just a howling away. And the hum you hear is from the magnets. Set up a little bit of a vibration. And then you get in here. See if I can get some stuff kind of moved around here a little bit. It's hard to see. Right here, so it's creating three-phase power right now. It's got three wires coming in to the rectifier. The rectifier is converting that juice from three-phase to 12-volt DC. And from 12-volt DC, it goes into the power inverter. And the power inverter then converts the 12-volt DC into 110. And then the 110 just plugs right into the wall here. And when you see if I can get you in here. I don't know if you can see these little indicator light here. I don't know if it's going to show up. Oh yeah. So when you see it blinking like that, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's when it's making power. If it just sits in one spot and just flickers, that means it's not spinning fast enough to create juice. So I've got two 500-watt inverters going here. And if for some reason this was to make way more energy than it was supposed to make, then it goes to this, what they call a dump load. And basically what these are heater coils. So basically it burns up that excess electricity. But that's if I'm creating 1,000 watts. This generator I've got, everything's underrated here, or overrated for what the thing can put out. Anyway, a few of you have asked about the power generator or the wind generator. I mentioned it in a few videos. And that's the setup. It's a grid tie inverter. So the cool part is, when the power goes out, the windmill will not make power and put power on the grid. That's a safety hazard for anybody out there working on power lines. You don't want to be juicing up power especially when they're thinking there's no power on that line, you could shock and kill somebody. So that's why I went with the grid tie. It's self-managing. When you pull the plug, it actually will slow the windmill down. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get back to the business at hand. Got the spark plugs pulled. All right, 0. 70 is off. $70 on that cylinder as well. That seems a little light, but it is enough to run the motor. It just might not run well. I think. Let's check spark next. Look at what I just discovered. I went to tighten this plug up, and it just goes round and round. We got ourselves a stripped spark plug hole. Yep, for sure. For sure. Look at that. That's my spark plug threads. So that might have been a big reason why somebody gave this up. So you never know what's going on, why somebody decided to get rid of it. Apparently we got a stripped spark plug thread. Now what I'm going to do in this case, let's get you down here a little closer. What we're going to do now is pull this head off. I'm gonna repair the spark plug thread. That's an easy fix. But also with the low compression, and it's only like, Jesus, what are these? Only $21 for a head gasket. Let's just go ahead and put a new head gasket in it and see if that fixes. Plus we'll be able to look and see if there's anything that's really possibly failing head gasket wise that's driving that compression down to about 70 pounds. So in order to, I'm not even gonna, well, maybe let's go ahead and see if I can see some spark. Why not? No spark there. Might help us turn the switch on, huh? There we go. We got a spark, a good strong spark too. At least we know the kill switch works, huh? Oh yeah, we got a good spark. No problems there. We're gonna go ahead and zip these bolts out here. Pull this head off. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and take these coils loose from the head first. And then we'll remove these here bolts. Well, there's our culprit. Take a look at that head gasket. See this dark spot here and this dark spot here? It should be shiny all the way around. That means you got a good clean seal. And you got dark, it's been blowing by between the two cylinders. That's where our compression went. The cylinder walls look fantastic. Not a single score line. No, that's in good shape. So we're gonna have to order some new gasket. So this thing might have ran, but you know darn well it didn't run well. Stripped out spark plug hole, blown head gasket. But 70 pounds of compression with a blown head gasket, not too bad. We can live with that. Okay, we can't live with that. It's fixable. So we'll set all this stuff right here. We'll order some new head gasket for this bad boy. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this cover off, the recoil start cover. Let's pull that off and let's take a look at them points. As long as I'm ordering parts, let's order all that I need. Well, the good news is the points and everything under here are completely dry, no oil. That means no soot, no anything. That means this top seal's still holding. At least the last time it ran, it was still holding. That's good news. So we're going to go ahead and check this points gap. Alrighty, we put the nut back on here, and you'll see, it's hard to see, on the top here, it says top, and there's another word in front of that top that says set. And you want to put that the little rubber rub piece that rubs where the contact arm touches the cam, you want to put that right on the middle of the set. And then you'll set your points so they're at 20 thousandths. And these are perfect right there. We'll roll it around to get the other one on the same set. We'll check it. And you basically want to have this go in there. You might feel a slight drag, but you shouldn't see the points move at all. So that one's good too. So now the good news is our points are in great shape. I cleaned them. And we're gonna run with those, as is where is. Actually, I think I have a piece of this felt stuff. I think I might replace that little felt piece. Well, I didn't have a new felt pad, so what I did on this one is I turned it over, flipped it over 180 so it's up against the cam again, and I put 2 drops of oil on it. 2 drops, that's it. When I say drops, I put it on the end of my screwdriver and let it go drip, drip. And that almost seems like it might be too much, but we're gonna go with it. That should be enough lubrication for that cam to prevent any unnecessary wear. And when you put this back on, it's important that this edge here is flush with that machine casting right here. See where this is machined? It needs to be flush right there. That cannot stick past. If that sticks past, it could rub on the flywheel and do some damage and prevent your pickup from working like it should. I think this is called the charge coil. You guys can leave comments in below if I've named that wrong, but I think that's called the charge coil. That basically picks up the juice generated with the magnet, between it and the magnet. And there, we just want to make sure that is perfectly flush right there. Then we can tighten it down in place. Now that we have the lubrication on the camshaft and we have the point set, we can just put the flywheel back on and torque it down. And the service underneath here is complete. Alrighty, well, we've got a stripped out spark plug hole here, and this one we got a real good spark plug hole here. But chances are whoever stripped this one out most likely over tighten this one as well. And I've got such a good fix on these spark plug holes that I'm going to go ahead and, while I've got the head off, I'm going to do both of them. Now this is a special tap for repairing spark plug threads. And what it does is this first threaded area goes through, pilots off the old threads, gets you in there nice and straight. And then the second set of threads are designed to cut so you can install an insert. Now I've got to pick up some more inserts. This one here is, as you can see, is too long. Spark plug should stick out to where it normally is, so I've got to go get me some shorter ones. We'll put a little lube on here. We'll go ahead and run this on through. Now I've done this a couple times with the outboard or with the head still on the motor. You can do it with it installed, but since this one's got a blown head gasket and I've got to fix this anyway, we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and back this up a little bit. Kind of break the chip off. There we go. And we'll keep going. Now I'm just using a little WD-40 here for some cutting lubricant. And this kit I bought for doing this cost about $54, but this will be hole number 3 and 4 that I've done with it. So think about it from that perspective. It's less than $15 a hole. And some people have said, oh, just go out and buy another head. Well, that's a waste. And quite frankly, this is a better fix than buying a new head. Some people out there might argue with me that putting thread inserts in this thing is not a better fix than buying a new head. Well, you can't buy a new head for these anymore anyway, but to buy a used one, the good used one, this is a better fix than that because it's going to put a steel insert in there where aluminum used to be. Because it's a bigger diameter thread on the outside, it's got more surface area. And the chances of you stripping it out again are slim to none. So as you can see in here, we got some beautifully formed, fresh, brand new threads in that hole. And then once we insert the new inserts in place, with Loctite, they're not going anywhere. Now if you look at the size of that hole it put in there compared to the old one, you can see that more surface area, more strength. Insert going in there is steel, more strength in the steel thread. Enough said about that. If you want to argue with me, you can, but you'll be wrong. I know it sounds like a bold statement, but that's how much I believe in this. And I know how well these things work. I salvaged a 25 horse Evinrude, I think it was, this past summer this way, and it worked beautifully. Now here, when you got the threads just about all but disappeared, you want to make sure you get things in straight. So what I'll do to kind of help me with this, oops, I got this clamp in a bad spot. Let's move the clamp a little bit here. Now this is going to be hard to see on the camera. I'm just going to go ahead and thread that one in there. That's going to help me. I'm going to get you down here in a bird's eye view. Okay, it's not a bird's eye view. So you can see what I'm trying to see here. We want to make sure that this here is running parallel with that other spark plug. So we want to make sure this is getting started in straight. And this tap is really good at following the hole. Like I said, I haven't been disappointed in this kit, not even a little bit. So just like that, we're in, and we're getting ready to cut those new threads, and we are perfectly parallel with this other thread. Or the spark plug, I should say. Now one thing you want to be careful to do, I don't know if you can see my hand placement on here. I've got my thumb here and my fingers here up close to the center line of this. You don't want to be out here yanking on the end of the wrench. The only reason you would ever do that is if you had a wrench that was equally long on both sides. I'm trying to keep the pressure centered. I'm not trying to pull one way or the other, because that could create an oblong thread, so to speak, because of the stress you'd be putting on the tap, and you could possibly break your tap. So you want to be very careful when you're doing this. And what we're going to have when we're done is a stripped out hole. It's going to be just as good or better. That's going to be better. It's not going to be just as good, it'll be better. And the inserts, replacement inserts for these, are only like $3. The kit's 50 some bucks, but you saw the short one that I've got on here. There's a short insert, there's a longer one, and there's even a shorter one for this spark plug here that goes in this particular motor. And just like that. And back this out by hand. Don't sit there and whirl your wrench around, because there again, the thing can cut on its way out and mess up your threads a little bit. You want good, clean, solid threads like that. When I get my thread inserts, I'll show you how I install them. Now you can see I got 2 perfectly tapped holes ready for thread inserts. When I get those inserts, we'll get them installed, get this head back on the motor, and let's check that compression, because I bet you we're going to have good compression after that. I did go ahead and pull the thermostat housing off. I'm going to go ahead and put a new thermostat in. There again, a few bucks, but a lot of peace of mind. So we'll get a new thermostat housing gasket. And hey, that came off real nice. We'll clean that up now. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this 20-horse Johnson catch clean fix. It was fun so far. As soon as I get the parts in, I've got the parts ordered. As soon as they arrive, we'll get back on this and we'll finish up with part 2. And with any good luck and a little bit of skill thrown in, we'll have this thing running over here in the test tank, and we'll see how it performs. And it'll sit and wait then until next spring, and we'll get it out there on the water and see how it performs behind the old Sea Nymph, or whatever boat I might have at the time. We'll see. The Sea Nymph has been the test platform so far. Forgot covering up my beautiful shirt. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned. More stuff coming. More videos coming. More repairs coming. I've got a plethora of motors to work on this winter, and we're going to keep them going and keep them pumping on through here. And hopefully you guys pick up some tech tips along the way, and you get to be able to fix your own motor with a lot of confidence. Let's call it confidence, yes, with what you've learned here today. And feel free to see other people's channels too. I encourage you to get out there and watch this old Outboard. He's a good one to watch. And Cody Bass. He's a good one to watch too. I enjoy watching his videos. I learned a lot from him myself. So get out there. Sorry, I got a lot of noise going on in the background here. It's awful. But it's a lot worse outside because it's like 20 miles an hour wind and it's about 35 degrees out. It's flipping cold. You guys get out there and have some fun. We'll see you on part 2 on this video. We'll see you on the next video. We'll get another project started. I got a lot of irons in the fire right now. Hopefully we'll come together and see a lot of motors start to run here real soon. You guys have some fun. We'll see you on the next video. This is Michael, and I'm out.